In a shock move that some are comparing to the Nixon era. But how are businesses here dealing with the Trump presidency? Ah, that's better. Something's been missing from my life for a week or two. Without knowing it, I've been weaning myself off Donald Trump. It's like a drug. And the election has been my methadone. It's almost as if his ego is so sensitive he knew I wasn't watching for a minute. He's like, "Oi, I just fired the director of the FBI." Like, oh, thanks, Donald. Missed that. He's like a fucking child, isn't he? The minute you look away, he does something dangerous. I blame myself, really. I mean, he is like a child. To call this Nixon-esque gives him too much credit. He's no Nixon. This guy is a fucking out-of-his-depth estate agent. Nixon-esque suggests strategy. A child doesn't do strategy. This is so much scarier. This isn't covering up a burglary. There's a reasonable chance this could be a US administration attempting to cover up their collusion with the Russians to swing a US election. That is potentially the biggest thing that's ever happened. And it's not funny anymore. It's gone beyond being able to take the piss. It's all very well me going, oh, he looks like a beer-battered sheep bollock with, instead of hair, a whole damp shredded wheat biscuit on his head. He is that, but also he's clearly a tyrant, a despot, a tin pot despot with shredded wheat for hair. And it's so blatant. He fires the man who's in charge of investigating his administration on the advice of his new Attorney General, who recused himself from that investigation, but then recommends that the guy in charge of the investigation is fired. And I'm quite surprised, actually, that Trump took the recommendation because, normally the only advice that Trump listens to is from whoever is presenting Fox News at the time. This is something else. It's kind of disarmed everyone. Really, is it? This isn't him lying about crowd sizes or throwing a Twitter fit at Meryl Streep or Alec Baldwin. This isn't him not giving up his tax returns, which would, as we all know, end his presidency then and there. This isn't pissing hookers or locker room bants about sexually assaulting women or making shit up about Obama tapping his phones or losing it when no one is prepared to vote for his rushed, barely fit-for-purpose policies. This isn't just another example of him draining the swamp and then filling it up with his own brand of fresh, hot diarrhea. This isn't even on par with firing someone for pointing out your immigration policy is unconstitutional, which was her job to point those things out, by the way. He was warned time and time again by so many people that Flynn, Russia thing, it was going to be a problem. But he didn't listen because if you're not nodding your head in agreement, you're a political opponent. This is the sort of paranoia you only get when there's something to hide. You're either with us or against us. The news is either flattering or fake. Some journo got arrested this week for asking the health secretary a question. Anyone who disagrees is fake or fired. That isn't a democracy. That's a royal court of some mad king. Everything's done on a whim, off with his head. It's not a democracy. More and more, it feels like a regime. Yeah, okay. Well, where to begin another explosive week in the White House?